Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Pixel Club. This is the Gentleman's Pixel Club. This isn't important now, and this isn't a gameplay video. No. The pinball machine that you saw very briefly at the beginning of this video was one that we built, and this isn't a build tutorial, but this is showing you great viewers, if you're interested in this pinball in any shape or form, what one fat man can do on his own over a period of literally 44 minutes, and there's a little bit of bonus content as well. Everything is chaptered. I hope you enjoy today's video. Before we crack on to the video, we need to say where this came from. This came from Liberty Games. I'm a UK person, if you can't tell by the accent, and Liberty Games, oh my god, what a great company to deal with. First of all, they answered all my dumb questions on the phone accurately. Secondly, they said this was going to be 10 to 15 days before delivery. It came in way earlier than that. The courier called to arrange delivery. The delivery happened exactly when they said it would, and they put it exactly where I asked them to do. You know, the couriers that Liberty Games use and the service that Liberty Games have given me so far is absolutely phenomenal. I could not thank them more. I really couldn't. So what are we doing? We are building this. This is the Legends Pinball 4K Jurassic Park that I have brought, and we're going to go on a video where you see a fat man slowly build one of these things. And you know, if I can do it on my own, and I'm not the strongest, I'm not the tallest, I'm not the brightest, you can do it as well. And as I say, there will be some bonus content, as I said in the intro, where we're going to look at a couple of other bits. As I say, look at the chapters if you want to see a little bit more. And before we go on, I need to call out Mox's Game Room. You know, Mox's Game Room is a great site. Mox's Game Room is a brilliant site. And user 2000 AD and Aussie, both of those people have been absolutely brilliant to me. They have helped me every single step of the way when it's come to me, my stupid, ridiculous questions that I've asked. So really, thank you very much. I appreciate both of you. I really do. So how are we going to do this? Well, I recorded the build of the video, and this is the build of the video that's literally about to appear. And you're going to see me actually not with sunglasses on. These are prescription sunglasses, by the way. Look how fat I am wearing my Gentleman's Pixels t-shirt. Look how fat I am fat indeed. But no, these are prescription glasses, and I generally wear them because it helps with the screen glare as well. What you're seeing is the 3 boxes on the screen there, and I'm using my late mother's scissors. She's dead and she doesn't need them anymore. If she did need them, that'd be a bit of a problem. And I'm having a look at the top of the box. The top of the box gives you instructions where basically we should cut along the box and then stand it up on its end, and you can drag everything out. I'm a bit dubious about this, you know. I'm sort of thinking, oh, how am I going to do this all on my own? Well, we do manage and we do succeed. And if you look closely on the back of my neck, you could see a huge scar where I had brain surgery many years ago. I'm still alive, so the brain surgery worked. Whether it made me brighter, dumber, I don't know. We just don't know. So my plan for the positioning of this video was I need to get legs on this table, and the original plan was I was actually going to use the table behind the table that hasn't been unboxed, so it didn't quite work out. You'll see. So in here you get a little pack. You get a little pack here, and that's got all the screws and everything you need to do. There is more than what you need. The little wooden standoffs, you have more. A couple of the screws, you've got more. You've also got this little book as well that I'm just showing you that you are not going to be able to read on the screen, but you get this little glossy book selling you new things that you can buy, that you can install on your pinball table. This Jurassic Park one comes with 3 tables, and you know, I was quite pleased about it. I generally was quite pleased about it. And this is a 45-minute long video. What I'm going to do is, you're not going to see all 45 minutes, but you are, because I'm going to speed it up at times. But here is how I basically get this out. You know, we move away that little box there. That's the topper from Liberty Games, who is the UK supplier for AtGames Legends Pinball. And I've bought all of this with my own money. No one has asked me to do this. Nobody has got me to do this myself or anything like that. But no, I did that, and that is the back box, I'm moving there as well. That was a little bit heavy, actually. I was actually surprised how heavy that was. So what you do here is you drag this all the way back. We've sliced it open and put it up on its end, as it says, and we're going to figure out how we're going to drag this out. You know, this is a reasonably large beast, but it's not as heavy as it would look. It is actually manageable. So, you know, we figure, look, you can see the scar there in all its glory. Look at that, where they actually sliced open my skull, removed some of the skull, went into the brain, and they actually removed a cyst that was the size of a grape. I wasn't allowed to keep that. Not that I wanted that anyway, but no, they actually removed that. So right, that packaging goes away and is thrown over my shoulder here. That's the little joystick that I'm pointing to. It comes with a little D-pad on the top so you can control it, and it works quite well. And then with the box this way, what we do is we figure out how we're going to slide this out. You know, I'm putting on the plastic. Is that going to work? I don't know. But remember, I am one person doing this. But, you know, we do eventually get it out, and it does start to move. And, you know, it looks way worse than what it is. It looks way worse than what it is. I'm really excited at this point because, you know, I want to build Pinball Corner. I want Pinball Corner to be there. But, you know, it is not there yet. And there we get some more protection stuff that you got. So you slowly start to remove all this padding, everything they put there. You know, it says on these boxes, you know, don't drop them, handle them with care. But my God, the amount of stuff that they actually put in these boxes to protect your unit, the unit that you would have spent hopefully some good currency for. Yeah, it's good. And there she is. She's sliding out now. Absolutely lovely. You can see the plunger on the top, the little red knob that's sitting on the top there. I don't know. Do I ping the knob? I don't know whether I do. No, I'm just having a look at what you've got there. But yeah, there's a little plaque on the front as well that tells you when your machine was born and everything else like this. So this is the first mission that's done. What you see is I keep a lot of the plastic on this video, on the machine as well, because, you know, I don't want to get it too dirty initially. And, you know, you're going to have a little bit of grease on your hands when you're doing nuts and bolts and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of the plastic stays on, and I'm generally happy. And then I'm thinking, ooh, what am I going to do now? How am I going to do this now? So we're just going to basically let this play out a little bit faster till we get to an interesting point. So what we're doing now is we're looking for the legs. Yes, we need the legs to put on the machine. And the legs come in the box with the back glass as well. And these legs, oh my God, the quality of them. They are really solid, I guess, iron. I guess they must be iron. I don't know what they're made of. But you'll see the quality of them when they come out. There they are. So there's a little box that you can see inside the box, just at the back, just at the rear. And it's one of those boxes that they're in. So, you know, we'll get those out and we'll show those in just a moment's time. So what box is it? Will I find them? It's certainly not that box, because if those were the legs, this would be a very small pinball machine and a little bit disappointing. In there is a UK power cord. So this came from Liberty Games. I don't know if they swapped the power cord, but it certainly came with a UK power cord. That's great. And these are the legs. Arise, all 4 legs. There you go. And there's an arrow on the bottom of the box pointing to me on the other side. There we go. And that's telling you what way it wants you to open these legs. So there you go. There's the arrow. I look the other way when you see me sort of looking in the wrong direction. This is the screen that I was actually doing the recording on. I'm using not the best webcam to actually be doing this for the time being. But yeah, I keep looking at the screen just to make sure it is recorded, because I don't want things going wrong. So there we go. Out go those legs, those solid legs, and they are quite heavy as well. My one regret when I look back on all of this, on what I purchased, I should have bought casters for them. You know, they come with these little screw feet, very good screw feet, and on the bottom of the legs, you got these little pads there as well. So, you know, they're like ribbed, for want of a better word there. You can't really see it. I'm trying to show it on the camera there. But yeah, they're ribbed, they turn, they go up and down, and they got a rough edge. But casters would have been much better, because if I could put the casters on, first of all, then you would have been in a great position to easily move this. Because, you know what, it's fine when you're building it in components. You know, you've got the bottom part of the machine that you move around to do what you need to do. You then put the back box on, you then put the topper on. It then becomes a little bit heavy. You know, not impossible, but casters would have made all my struggles in moving it around go away. The plan now is to turn the machine around so that it is basically facing the camera, because that's the best way, I think, for the angle. And the plan that I've hatched in my eyes, you can see there, this has got the SSF kit installed here, and there's a big grill over where the subwoofer is as well, and that is a lovely sounding piece of kit. It really is. So I'm carefully tearing off the plastic here where I want to put the front legs without exposing too much of the machine, and they're going to go to the left and the right that you could see there. There is 2 bolts per leg, and they're put on using a set of Allen keys as well. I was just taking a photo of the top there because that was the first time I was really seeing the little plaque you've got. You get this little plaque which says what number machine yours is, when it was born, and everything else like this. And this is the little toolkit we showed at the beginning that has extra bits and pieces in it. There's probably instruction guides on how to build this, how to set these machines up here. And the whole purpose of this video is not to show you really how to do it, although it is showing you how to do it. It's showing you how you can actually do this on one person and how easy and quick it actually is to do. So these are the bolts that's going to go in with the Allen key that I've got. I wonder whether the person that created Allen keys was actually called Alan, or was his name Dave. We will never know. Perhaps you know. If you do, leave a note in the comments. So there you go. We're going to carefully put these legs on and get both of these on, and then I'm going to show you how I did the back legs. So we've got the 2 legs on. The original plan was to actually rest this up on the table, but then having a look at the box for the back case, the back glass here, that's actually the right size to put the table on, because the key here is we want access to the back of the machine where we can put the other 2 legs on. So that's a case of very carefully positioning that box roughly about centre, putting the plastic wrap on a little bit, and we basically lift the machine up. We lift this machine onto the box with the back glass in, and it sits there very, very well. You know, it wasn't an absolute nightmare to do, and it's reasonably sturdy. So with that, I'm in the position where I can just tear off the plastic at the back which covered the 2 areas of the legs that you've got here. It looks a little bit wobbly, but I'm actually holding it with one hand as well, but it's actually quite stable on there. See, both hands, no problem there at all. And then what we do is we basically just grab the legs and we screw the legs into the back, as you're about to see. So I'll stay quiet here so I don't scare myself and make myself nudge this and drop it, because we don't want to see it fall, do we? No, 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 that would be very, very bad. So we'll just be a little bit quiet while I'm concentrating. So this is the 4th leg, 3 or 4 legs that I'm putting on here. I'm now absolutely not worried at all, because if the machine was to somehow manage to fall off the box that it was standing on, which still has got the back box actually inside it as well, but I actually really wasn't worried about that, because I've seen already the protection that you get from AtGames in how they actually do this. They probably wouldn't recommend doing it that way, but hey, it doesn't matter. You know, these things are really, really well protected here, and you can see me doing this. But no, this is the point where any worry I had about the mad way I was doing this, it was like all gone, purely for the fact is, well, this is okay, because if it does fall, it's still got 3 legs, you know, and you know, a 3-legged animal has more chance of standing than a 2-legged animal or a 1-legged animal. So this was all going to be absolutely fun. There was a little bit of concern here in my mind, thinking, oh right, okay, now what do I do? You know, I've got to get it off there. So there's a little bit of lifting and moving things around, because it was basically balanced, and you had every leg basically a few centimeters off the ground. So, you know, we managed to work it out, and we managed to do it. You know, at this point, you know, it's more a case of actually finding a sensible way to grip it, and then you get the box out of the way. As you can see, I tilt it on the back legs that you've got there, and we move the box. I pushed it out of the way with my feet, thinking, that back glass is in there. At least that's okay. My feet are not enjoying the experience. But hey, you get it out of the way and you get it moved. And, the machine isn't going to topple. I'm just using that for leverage at that point because space is really cramped. You are just in front of the webcam on how I have got this set up. So yeah, whoops, it fell a little bit there, but that was okay. And it really was absolutely fine. So there you go. I'm happy I've done it. And there was no problem. Everything was fine. This has been moved from China or the US, wherever it's come from. It probably went from China to the US to the UK as it was imported. It's had a hell of a journey, so you can guarantee it's had a little more bumps than that little one that you saw here. So I think I'm off getting a little bit of refreshment now, thinking, well, we're nearly there. So what we're doing now is we need to position the machine because we're going to be doing work on the back glass, and I've got very limited movement in terms of where I can put this. So, we're very slowly lifting it, moving it around. And it's a lovely machine, this. It really, really is. But I've got to say, that orange side that you see now, that's a much better side of artwork than the one on the left is much better than the one on the right. And it's a shame it wasn't the other way around. It's not a problem because, you're not there to look at the artwork. And what I do like about the Jurassic Park artwork is it is very, very dark, although I have to say, if I had a choice of options, I probably would have gone for the Snoopy one if I had all options available to me, but that wasn't available. But no, other than that, the Jurassic Park wins because of how dark it actually is on the back glass and everything else. So yeah, that's really, really good. What we're doing now, though, we're just flipping the machine around on its 4 legs that I have managed to put in very, very safely, and we're going to put the back box in now. So this is the rear of the machine that you're seeing for the first time. On the back of that machine is a few ports. You've basically got 3 HDMI ports, so you can connect an external PC and run any visual pinball, future pinball, anything like that. And that's for the back glass, the DMD, and the playfield. And you've also got an OTG cable, which is another USB cable, so you could run the controls effectively from your PC and have this basically AtGames 4K pinball effectively acting as a controller and a display for a separate PC running to bring all your virtual pinballs absolutely to life on this. And we will be doing this on the channel at some point in the near future. We absolutely will. So what we're doing now is we're just preparing the back here. Oh, and also on the back is a spare USB port as well, and that is so that you can basically plug it in, format it, and save your tables that you choose to download onto that. And you've got enough storage on the machine, but I think it's always better to have a little bit of more storage. So here we are. What are we doing now? So I think that we've got a key to open up the back, and when you open up the back here, you get to see all the insides. In this back panel is 6 cables, 5 cables, 6 cables, I can't remember, maybe the 5th one was already there, but it's got a whole load of cables that need to be pushed basically through this hole at the top. There you go, you can see it's 10:14 when I did that, 10:14, and there was a lot of cat action, a lot of pussy action on the front of my phone, if you saw very, very briefly there. But yeah, I wanted a picture of this just so that if there was any problems with it, I could say to Liberty Games, well, this is what you shipped me, this is what you've got. But no, they shipped a very good product, considering they installed the SSF kit as well for me. I can't say, I'm even disappointed in how this arrived. Yeah, when it was packaged, it was as if it had never been opened. You can see the box had been resealed, but beyond that, that's all you've got. So these are the little standees that go in top. So you put these in here, into the holes here, and what they do is this is for the back glass to actually go in on the backboard to go in. You've also got a couple of screws that you need to screw in as well. Now, they give you more of those little wooden pegs than what you actually need. But the trick here to get this in is there's a hole in the top where the cables feed through, and the back glass as well has got a hole in it as well. If you can get this lined up with the hole in the top, everything will go on absolutely fine. And here, as I said earlier about the packaging protecting the back glass when I actually had the cabinet sat on top, you saw that huge piece of polystyrene that I have just taken out. You know, it was absolutely massive. And you know, this is why my foot was complaining when I was moving this. You know, this is absolutely huge when it comes out. You don't realise how big it is. You really don't. You can see the box, but I don't know. It's like it feels bigger as it comes out the box than what it actually is. So there you go, lift that out, and that's upside down at the moment. See, we will be turning it the right way up. And yeah, we need a screwdriver to get into that as well. So you know, you're going to see me unscrewing. I think it was 9 screws in total that we have on the back, and that gives us access to put all the cables in. So essentially, the back panel has been removed. On the bottom part that you see, you can just see the hole in the top between where those 2 wooden pegs are. When we put the back box on top of there will also be another hole in the back box, and we can feed the cables through that. So you know, everything should work out just fine. I wondered where I'd gone then. I thought I'd gone for a walk. So here we are. This is the back glass that's going to go on here. We've got these screws. You can't see the ones I'm pointing to at the top, but we need to take all of those out. There's a little metal hook on the back as well. I'm actually not sure what that hook is for, but we're going to put this on the table and we're going to very carefully take those screws out. Now, not that it's hard to do this because it comes with a little screwdriver to do, but by carefully doing it, we're going to make sure we put them somewhere where we could find them. And the good news is as well, you know, I know that we've had a couple of breaks where I wasn't on the screen doing anything at all here. You know, we are well over halfway through getting this actually built and done. You know, this is not a big job to do. Just be organised, just be prepared. And, you know, really all you've got to do is pull your trousers up like I did and make sure that you've got enough space, haven't got a wedgie, and then everything will be fine. Everything will be absolutely fine. This part needs to be taken off purely to get to the back. You know, it's strange how on the back of the playfield you've got a little plastic one sort of shield that you unscrew, that you undo with a key to do this, because it comes with a set of keys to do this. Yet you don't have such a nice experience on the back of this. It's just a piece of wood that's there, but everything in this whole package, in this whole setup, you know, is really well put together. And for the little bonus bit of content we've got after we've actually finished building the machine, and you'll just stick to the end, you'll see exactly why we've done this, and it's worth actually showing this bit as well. You know, I've come to the conclusion that a lot of money has gone into obviously the design and everything else for these machines, but you know, a lot of money has gone into the quality of the build as well. Everything just fits so snugly, and yeah, there's zero cause for complaint for anything. So this is the part where we're basically going to put the box on top of there, as I'm indicating. Make sure that you've got the 2 I suppose nuts, for want of a better word, or bolts that you're going to screw on here, because that will sit there very nicely. You know, it goes perfectly over the 2 holes that you've got with those 2 little bits of wood keeping it there, but that is not stable. So they're wing nuts, so you need to put the wing nuts in and get them screwed in. I think I might have dropped one that I just bend down and pick up in a minute, but you can see the cabling on the back. Now, we'll get to that in a minute when we do this, but everything, and I mean absolutely everything, is indicated for what you need to be doing on the cabling. You know, there's no magic art or anything like that, and it looks a little bit more flimsy than what it is. So some of the connectors that you plug in here, you know, they look like they're going to break, but they're not. They're actually really solid. So yeah, really easy to do here. We tighten these up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have to go for a little rummage to find the missing cables. And by the missing cables, these are the cables actually down in the playfield and everything else like that, because we need to push them up through that hole so we can actually do well, what we need to do and use the machine. I'm actually not sure what I'm doing now. Did I drop something? Have I lost my marbles? You know, has a cat entered the room? No, a cat hasn't entered the room because I shut them away downstairs because I didn't want any cats deciding that they would come and help. That would make things really, really hard. I'm actually not sure what I'm doing here. Oh, I might be tidying up. Nah, no, I'm not. That's the topper. All right, so this is the topper. This came separately. I didn't know whether I wanted to go for this or not, but I thought you can't have everything you've spent the money on and not do it there, not have this. So this is going to sit on top. Now, a little word of warning. I was a little bit confused for a little bit with this because there is a blue wire. If you look on the top left of the picture, that blue wire connects to the topper wire that basically comes through the top, and you get a couple of screw things where you screw in the topper. That's fine, that's easy. But there is a sticker on top of the back glass which you need to remove, and if you remove that sticker, there's a very small hole in there for the wires to go through from the top of the topper. And the easy way to do this is you actually take the cable, and it's got a little blue wrap on it. So where I'm with the topper at the moment, if you look on the desk on the bottom left hand side, you can just see it there. That is indicating, I think it was basically a point number 6 that I had to connect together. Well, if you basically take that and you wrap it around the cable, and then it will push neatly through the hole at the top. Unfortunately, you can't see this because of the camera angle and everything else like that. That was a mistake on my behalf, and I'm sorry. I'm just trying to show you the best build video that I can, but you know, all this editing is going on afterwards. It is not going on during the week when we're actually doing it, because otherwise you've got me there on the camera and you've got me here, and that's 2 me's and there's only 1 me, and that really doesn't work very well unless some magical time travel stuff has gone on. But no, we're not Doctor Who, so that doesn't exist. So there I am trying to figure out, where is that hole? Have you ever been looking for holes because you can't find a hole? Well, that was a hole I was looking for and I couldn't find. There you go, bingo, I have found it. I had to use the instructions for that bit, but yes, you take that sticker off and that gives you the right hole to put your cable in. So we just faff about with this for a little bit. Doesn't take too long, but we are so nearly there. You know, this is right near the end. On that topper, that cable wasn't very long, and the reason it's not very long is they also tape part of the cable to the bottom of the hopper. So what the topper. So you basically need to have the topper, look at the bottom, remove a bit of tape that's there, which actually then gives you a longer cable to feed through the hole. You know, it was all going a little bit Pete Song like this, but I thought this is a little bit tight. You might have actually been able to do it with the length of cable that was there, but no, it really was not 100% right for what we would try to do. But we get there in the end. So here you go, that's the tape. When you remove that tape, you then have a nice piece of length. You have a good solid length that you can slide into that hole so that everything connects and functions as you would want it to function. So yeah, I didn't even see that. And this was the only bit where I actually really, even to remove the cover on the top hole, I actually had to go and have a look at the instructions. You know, everything else was just really simple. And obviously I'm saying this with hindsight because I've made the video, but yeah, no, nothing falls, nothing breaks, nothing injures me, which is good, which is very good. So there we go, this is where I'm basically now finding the holes to put these 2 bolts into to screw them in, and the topper will be firmly in place. There's a pity you can't actually see it here. It's just a little bit high, but it's one of those things. I am sorry about this angle here, but you've just got to trust me because I'm putting things up in the air. They're not disappearing into nothing. No magic is happening here. I can assure you that topper is actually really there. But none of this is soul destroying work. None of this is like, good lord, I know right at the beginning there was a gentle pause where I was like looking for, okay, here we go. But on reflection, if I had seen this video that I had made, although that was not technically possible because I hadn't made the video, but let's just assume I could. Let's just assume that I could see this video that I had made. All my stress for building this damn machine would have gone. It would have actually disappeared, and I would have learned that I would have actually need to buy I would need to buy the casters, the rollers for the feet as well, for the bottom of the legs, because I think that would have been a nice touch. That will, I don't know, it's happy in place now, where I've got it. What you saw on the opening video as it opened up here, it's happy in place there. I don't know whether I will be doing that or not. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Yes and no. Definitely maybe. There you go. Indecisive as ever. All right. So now, what am I doing now? Oh, I thought I was tidying up. No, that's not me tidying up. What am I generally doing? I've lost something. Well, it's not my glasses. I'm wearing my glasses. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, I'm taking things out of box. Yes. What the blazes am I looking for? Here we go. All right, so there you go. I'm looking for some numbers to count. Right, so this is me counting the cables. There's basically 6 connections that you've got here, and that's the cable, and they come neatly bundled together. And you've got a little red sort of plastic bag on them, a little red jiffy type bag thing. You push it through the hole at the top, and then you take off the jiffy bag, and that exposes all 6 cables for you to do. There is nothing else hidden in that machine. I don't know what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for leprechauns, candy, gold, who knows, but there's absolutely nothing at the back there. I really just need to get on with taking these off. I reckon if you took away all the time that I've dilly-dallied and everything else like that, this build would not have been done in 44 minutes when it's finally done. No. It could have been done in 40 minutes perhaps. But yeah, this collection, everything is numbered. So I do it in the right order that it asks you to do. Everything is push fit as it wants. You've got some red cables that are indicated on the sticker there for the way that you put this cable in. It inserts straight down. It looks flimsy, but bang, no, it goes straight away. It really, really does. So that was easy. Everything else, so that's cable number 1, that's cable number 1 in. Everything else is really easily keyed for what you want. And by keyed, think of that, you have a finger like that and a hole like that it goes into. And I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just showing you got a finger and a hole that goes in this way. So everything is notched. You would have to have hands of ham. You would have to be really fist-handed or really even ham-fisted to get this wrong. You've got to take your time. You've got to be careful. But yeah, this back bit, this last bit, was an absolute doddle. It really, really was. And you know what? We are coming on in about 10 seconds time. We are 5 minutes away from the finish of this build. So there, concentration on my face, thinking, can I do it? Yes, I can do it. Bang, 5 minutes. Here we go. 4 minutes, 55 seconds to go. So yeah, all of this is really, really easy to do. You just do that. This cable one goes in the top. This is for the topper. If you don't have a topper, then you won't need to be doing this. If you have got a topper, you do need to be doing that. And there's a little switch on the back of the back glass to change the brightness of the topper. It isn't actually physically on the topper, but no, it's on the bottom of the back glass where you could do this. But yeah, I'm just following the lead, pushing every single cable in and just seating everything to make sure that it's okay. It really is as easy as this. Liberty Games that put the SSF kit in, they've done such a great job in packaging this up together. I know I've mentioned it already, but holy hell, you would not know. You absolutely would not know, apart from the top had been opened and redone, that they had taken this apart and done the work they need to do on it. And I do believe that they put that kit in themselves as well, because I know you can get some built with kits. So I believe you could get some shipped at least from AtGames with the kits, but you know, there was writing on the tape about the kit being installed. So here I am. I basically just put the back panel on the bottom here, and I don't know what to do with that key. What am I going to do with that key? What am I going to do with that key? Well, fortunately, AtGames gives you a UK plug, which is useful. Sorry, not a UK plug. Liberty Games gives you a UK plug. Or at least it came with a UK plug, because this is an import thing, and I just basically tie it around one end of the plug. I don't see the need for me going into the back. You know, when I was peering into the back looking for leprechauns, gold, and just generally magical things, there was nothing in there. I even took the photo inside as well, but there was nothing of any importance in there, or anything that should ever need adjusting again. So yeah, I think we're done here with that, and I'm just off camera now, dicking about with the lead, and there you go. I've put the keys on there, get that tied up nice and neatly. So now if I ever need them, well, they're next to the power, which is next to the keyhole where they need to go. So there we go. We're nearly there. We're absolutely nearly there. So this is the final piece of the puzzle. We're basically putting this back in play. I say it's just so weird that they've got a really lovely little plastic panel at the bottom, and you've got this at the top. You know, I'm surprised they didn't do it both ways. They do listen to customer feedback. Right at the front, you've got the plate for when your game was born and what number it was of the run they've got. It turns out that on the original designs for some of these machines, that was off-centered. It looks a little bit weird. They listened to customer feedback and they moved the coin door. It's not a real coin door. You can put a coin in and it falls through, but it doesn't do any more than that. But yeah, here I am putting this back together. So this worked with no trouble whatsoever. Everything worked first time. When I powered this on, there was no issues, no connections that were dodgy, anything like that. And the journey that this has had, the upgrade that this has had done to it as well, it was just an absolute pleasure to be dealing with Liberty Games, who give you a product that is so well delivered. And again, I need to shout out the couriers they use as well, exactly where I wanted this to go. They put it, no fuss, no quibble, nothing like that. And the comms as well. The comms was absolutely great from that company. It really was. And I'm not a shill for them. I spent my own money doing this. I spent a little bit too much of my own money doing this. I've spent quite a lot on this actually. I'm going to be eating beans and soup for a very long time. Baked beans, of course. And that's the one thing. That's baked beans. We may be broke at times in our life, but shitty beans are always shitty beans. Never skimp on beans. Always get baked beans if you have to. At least the beans are a good quality Heinz baked beans. Alright, so last screw is going in there, and literally we're just a few seconds away from the bonus features of this video. So look, I'm happy now. I'm happy. I'm a bit sweaty there. Look, a fat man sweating. Giving a thumbs up. This is a good place to be. And we'll just let this time out. We've literally got, I don't know, another 15 seconds or so, and then we move on to the rest of the video. It's not very long, the rest of it, but there is a little bit more to go. So, what are we going to talk about now? This is my pinball. This is the pinball that you've seen me build. And for those of you that do know, a good example here is, let's talk about reflections. You could see a reflection on the screen. See that red bar going down? That's from the curtain, because this picture was taken probably about 6 p.m. in the evening, thereabouts. You could see the topper on the top of the screen, the dinosaur lit up. And if you look on the back glass, look about the middle of the back glass underneath Chucky's head, you can see a reflection from the topper as well. So what this is that glass is very reflective. Now you can turn off that topper, that's absolutely fine, but what you can't see on the top glass is the reflection from the back screen onto the glass, which is hugely reflective. And this is because there has been a privacy screen put in here. Yes, I ordered the privacy screen a couple of days ago when I knew this was coming, and I've actually put this in and it works really well. So again, I want to give a thumbs up to Mox's Game Room. There's a gentleman there, user 2000 AD, and he gave me a link to where to get that from a little bit cheaper than what you normally find. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you this being installed. So let's remove that picture there, and here we go, another little video. This video is only a few minutes long, but it's actually already sped up. So before, where I was speeding up the bits of video you had with me talking and everything else like that, you know, that's what we thought. Where is it? Why has it not appeared yet? Has something gone wrong? Ha! Alright, this video has been done literally in one take, and this is fancy video number 2. There we go, there we go. Here I am. So what I'm doing is I'm quickly pointing to the screws on here. I'm removing those screws, and what I'm going to be doing is putting in that 3M privacy screen that you could see. So first thing I'm doing is taking off the 4 screws for the grills and everything else. And you'll notice I'm in a different t-shirt now. The other one got a little bit sweaty, so the gentleman's t-shirt for this channel is removed, and we got another white t-shirt on. So these grills pop off there, and then you remove the 2 screws at the top. Notice, or you won't notice, but the 2 screws at the top are different from the screws for the grill there. Make sure you keep them separately. Alright, so with the screws removed, you can put your fingers where the grill is here, and there's a little bit of tape which basically secures the plexiglass to everything else. And it doesn't take much effort, it just comes off there and you can see where the tape is. And we then get the privacy screen. So I'm unboxing the privacy screen at the moment. It doesn't seem to matter really what way it goes. However, I do flip it around at one point, because I do notice on the pictures, if you think of a line going across here, there's a line going across and there's a little indent that goes round there. And on the pictures, that little indent was always at the top of the screen. So I figure, oh, what do I do? Do I change it? Do I not change it? I don't know. But it's literally just a little bit of plastic here that goes this, and it's to stop people looking at things from the wrong viewer angles. But I have to flip it around, because if you look very closely, look where the DMD screen is, where you can see the blue coming through on that center one. If you look towards the privacy screen, you can see there's a little gap there, a little indent, and that really should have been at the top if I was to follow the instructions. What you get is you get these little bits of tape that you stick on. So, you know, bang, 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 we put these bits of tape in there, and that will hold it into place. It doesn't have to be done hard and fast. It pushes straight up against the plexiglass. That's absolutely fine. And there we go, I'm sticking that in there, and then I think, oh no, let's do it the right way around. You know, we don't want it to be wrong, because all this privacy screen is about viewing angles, and this viewing angle is what protects effectively the Chucky screen that you saw, the table that I had installed there, from actually reflecting on the glass. So there you go, you put it back and it slides in so easy. You know, it's there, and I put it on and bang, it works. Yeah, there was no reflection as you saw on the picture, but you see it booting up, and everything is done in a little bit high speed there, because you didn't want to see this end to end. But that is how easy it is to put that privacy screen. But yeah, user 2000 AD, thank you for that link. The Gentleman's Picture Club appreciates you. They really, really do. So, you know, this forum that I've been having a look at, you know, that I mentioned here, you know, you've got Aussie, and she's absolutely great. You know, you've got lots of people there that want to help. Everybody responds, and the purpose of that Discord is they actually also support something called VPX, and there's a standalone VPX type client that you can load without the use for an external PC, with some tables that will work. And eventually on that Discord you may get access to it if you're lucky enough. But no, that's shown there. That's shown there. So we're going to go think for a few final words. Overall, building this was very, very easy. The trouble happened when everything was built. And what do I mean by trouble? It's not big trouble. It's not like Big Trouble in Little China or Big Trouble in the Gentleman's Picture Club. No. The trouble is with the accounts. On the screen, if you are a UK person, you cannot buy the tables. You cannot purchase the tables through the machine. If you're in the US, you can. But if you try and put a UK credit card in there, it does not like it, because you don't have a zip code. What you need to do is you need to go to AtGames webpage, their US webpage, and you can purchase the games through there, put them in your shopping cart, and when they're in the shopping cart that you've got, you basically then buy them, and through email they send you a code. What you then go is you go to your pinball, you go to the digital library that you've got, and from the digital library you add a new code, and you put in a 16-character code, and to confirm, it goes away and confirms that that is a valid code, and it comes back yes, because this is connected to the wireless. And it does have an offline mode, by the way, but this is connected to the wireless. And then after you've got that code, you can play the table. But before you can play the table, you then need to drop back to the main menu, select the table, do a download for the install, and Bob is literally your uncle. So, you know, I've had this a few hours. It's taken my day to get it set up, get it working. Although it didn't take that long, you know, I've had to do other things in the day as well. Come back, do the screen, get a game installed on it as well. Understand how the games work, how that bit works and everything. But am I happy? Oh my god, yes, I'm happy. You know, there will be pinball videos later on in the channel, but this was purely a build video to show you how easy this is. If I, a fat man, can do this, anybody can do this. You stay safe, you take care, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
T is for gentleman, P is for pixel, C is for club. At the Gentleman's Pixel Club, we play old school games, no need to rule. With sunglasses on, we dive into retro fun. Masters of nostalgia, our joy never gets undone. G is for gentleman, P is for pixel, C is for club. The GPC brings us together every single video. Subscribe now and join the club, let's have some fun. Gentlemen of gaming, you know ladies, welcome to Pixelated Fun. Remember when we had Commodore and Atari too? Those were the days, we loved them like a brother and you. From Pac-Man to Space Invaders, we played all night long. Gentleman's Pixel Club reminds us of those times when life was just right. G is for gentleman, P is for pixel, C is for club. The GPC brings us together every single video. Subscribe now and join the club, let's have some fun. Gentlemen of gaming and the ladies too. Retro fun never done. Through the years, the games may change, but the spirit stays the same. Gentlemen's Pixel Club is where we gather our hearts in a gang. Sunglasses on, we're ready to play. Gentlemen's Pixel Club, the ultimate gaming channel, always in play. G is for gentlemen, P is for pixel, C is for club. The GPC brings us together every single video. Subscribe now and join the club, let's have some fun. And women and children of gaming, joystick fun are never done. G is for gentlemen, T is for pixel, C is for club. The GPC brings us together every